What is up, Cahir Club, and welcome back to another CahirLIVE live stream. How goes it? I hope everybody's been having a great week so far. Hello, Brugger, and hello, Dreams. You're here again. Hopefully you can make more Lance jokes. Well, Lance jokes are too appropriate because today is just a regular shiny hunt. What's it called? Yeah, today's a regular shiny hunt. Today we are continuing our hunt for shiny Minccino. Of course, last stream we continued on with the hunt, and we're nearing 600 encounters now, which is pretty spicy if I do say so myself. We'll probably pass that today, get well on the way to 1,000. We might be over odds sooner than you'd think. I hope we don't go over odds. Hello, Rapid Thor. How goes it? I hope your week's been going well so far. But yeah, let's hop into it, I'd say. No need to hang around. No need to hang around at all. Okie dokie. Let me just pull up all the necessary bits and bobs. Alright. There we go. That didn't work. Okay. But yeah, Minccino hunt, of course. Hi there, welcome to the little Pokemon. Professor Juniper, Minccino, continue. Bada bing, bada boom. You know the drill. The Violet Hardcore is coming to an end, and I think it's great now. Just going to sweep this final battle with... Oh no? Well, what happened to Ultron? Right. Brain today. Brain not too functional. It's been so unnecessarily hot today. And I don't know why. I mean, it's been hot the past couple of days, really. Temperatures spiked and it looks like it's going to be a warm week. Which I am not excited for. I hate hot weather so much. Like, cold weather I find easier to function in, you know? Like, I've been thinking about it. Because, of course, there's, like, the general, like, summer versus winter debates that people always go on when autumn and spring are far superior. But, like, hot versus cold, I feel like, is still another matter. And, like, on a really cold day, I find it easier to function than on a really warm day, you know? Like, when I'm cold, I, like, wrap up warm and can still, like, do things. When I'm hot, I shut down. When it's too hot, I deactivate. Do, boop, boop, boop. You know? You know how it is. I've got a Terra Water Aqua Step in. But Gargasodium Chloride managed to take it. With his noble sack of rice. Wait. I'm not entirely sure who's here. I'm not sure which way around this encounter is going. I don't know if that was your Garganical or theirs. Because depending on the intensity of the situation could be either. Alright, I forgot how quick this hunt is. I wonder how long it'll take us to get to the save file corrupted screen. We started at 570, so if I can notice it, like when it kicks in, that's great. Because then we can know exactly how many encounters it took us to get to the corrupted save file screen, and that's pretty exciting, you know? I wonder if this happens in regular resettings of games. I mean, I'm not emulating. I wasn't going to talk about the fact I'm emulating, because I'm not emulating. Why would I emulate? Alright. She's got Lycanroc, not Garganical. Well, Nemona does. Oh, you're gonna sweep the final battle with Nemona. Okay. Apologies. The Nemona part was covered by the new YouTube feature where you can just send emojis. It covers chat. So like if your message is a bit too long, I can't tell what the fuck is going on. I can't read specific words, and it just makes it a lot harder to read chat. And I really want them to move it anywhere else, anywhere at all than there, because it's just so in the way. But Rob, hello, how goes it? Did anyone see the shiny you got yesterday? Oh, that was shiny? Yeah, I don't know anything about Lumion Legacy. I'm not inclined to want to. But congratulations. Congrats. But yeah. What was I saying before? Yeah, it's like a cool feature. I appreciate it. But how are you nearly over odds? I'm not nearly over odds. Did I say nearly? No, I think I meant it like I'll be over odds sooner than you'd think, you know? Like, this hunt is going quicker than I expected it to. With the hunts I've done lately, it feels like they've been ticking up slower. But like, I can get like 270 encounters done in one stream. Which means I'll be over odds a lot quicker in this hunt than like any hunt I've done before. Yeah, not bad here apart from hot. Yeah, no, yeah, I feel that. I was talking about it just now. Despise the heat. Not a heat fan. Like, it's just too hot. It's just way too hot. I'm not appreciative of the heat. Not appreciative at all. Yeah, you neither unless you have access to somewhere you can cool off. Yeah, that's fair. I have like a fan for that, and that's about it. So it's not like the greatest supply of cooling off appliances. I forgot how much I hated summer. Not a fan at all. Absol, hello, how goes it? I hope your week's gone off to a good start. So I'm a little bit paranoid because my window's open. And I don't want to speak too loud and have, like, everybody... What's it called? I don't want everybody else to hear the stream. Because then that won't be the views. They gotta tune in to the CahirLIVE live stream so they can't just get the stream, I'd say for free, but like you get the stream for free. This isn't like a pay limited stream. Shut up, we know what a Pokemon are. Yeah, but we gotta really make sure, you know? We gotta be really welcome to the world of Pokemon. Surely you feel so welcomed to the world of Pokemon now? Like, you must feel so welcome to the world of Pokemon at this moment, right? Alright. If the new heart feature is about as useful as Focus Plus, Magmortar actually hits it. So the feature is useful? I don't know, I kind of like it. I think it's quaint. I would like it to be anywhere else on the screen. Anywhere. But where it is. Just not. Not a good position. Like, they can move it up to the top, up, like, beside chat. I'm guessing, like, the worry is in putting it, like, in the chat box. Yeah, like, I can guess their, like, worry with putting it in the chat box is, people mistake it for, like, the emoji button. But, like, its current place is fundamentally worse. Inarguably worse. Like, Rabbit Doris just sent a really long message. Like, no matter how, like, wide yeah, chat has to, like, encompass half of my screen to, like, see the whole message without, like, it being interrupted at all. Which just isn't good. One time you started up BDSP, and your turtle twig was actually lime green. You thought it was a bug, so you closed the game. And then your turtle twig looked the way it should. Was it a bug? Yeah, it was a bug. It was a bug-type turtle twig. That's what happened there. No, yeah, it was a bug. It would have destroyed your game. If you'd done it, you should definitely reset. If it's got sparkles, that's a visual error. If the Pokemon sparkles, that's a visual error. And it signifies that you have about 10 minutes left of gameplay before your console explodes. So if you see a Pokemon that's a different color than what it should be, just reset immediately. Hello, Felix. How goes it? I hope your week's gotten off to a good start. Holy moly, thank God you closed it in time. Yeah, no, you really saved yourself from that one. What do I mean by that? I mean, the console will just explode. So you got to be really careful, you know. If the Pokemon sparkles and doesn't look normal, you got to reset. You just got to reset over it, you know, or the console, it'll explode. And that'd be really dangerous. You know, you wouldn't want that. You wouldn't want that at all. How's the weather been over there? Unappreciated. I'm unappreciative of the weather. Yeah, exactly. The CPU can't take it. It unhooks the overclock and boom, exactly. Listen to Rob, he knows what he's talking about. That's why your Switch overheated so much before you replaced the fan. Exactly. You had a huge storm at like 5 PM. I've like been seeing storm clouds. Yesterday I heard thunder. Yesterday like I heard the thunder. But, what was it called? It didn't rain. I heard the thunder, no rain. Just thunder. Part of the neighbor's roof broke off even because of the rain and the wind and stuff. Shit, that's wild. Yeah, weather's whack at the moment. Does it actually explode? Yeah, it actually explodes. Like, full-on actual explosion. It's really dangerous. That's why you don't want it. So if you ever see a Pokemon that doesn't look normal, like a Pikachu that's like orange, a Charizard that just seems to have like a lighting error, a yellow Groudon, all that kind of stuff, just reset immediately. You feel like that's going to be a short? No. No, of course not. Pokemon kill people, true fact, exactly. Like, did we not all play Legends Arceus? good, because I'm in need of shorts at the moment. I don't have enough. Hey, but yellow ground is actually shiny. That's not a glitch. No, it is. If it sparkles and is the wrong color, reset. That's a glitch. $150% a glitch. Alright, I'm gonna take a drink quickly. You all make sure you're staying hydrated, especially if you're in the UK at the moment. In this heat. Got a decent photo of the lightning. Oh, that's cool. You have a yellow Groudon, and it sparkles, it doesn't explode. Dude, you gotta be careful. It's gonna. And the longer it takes, the bigger the explosion. So you gotta be careful, dude. Like, you gotta release it. You gotta release it, Absol. You gotta release the Absol. You gotta release the Groudon, Absol. Or your system will explode, Absol. You gotta release it. By the way, you finished the test server for Johto before it shut down, but the Elite Four stopped you from speedrunning it. So kind of good for Pokemon mode. Ah, understandable. I hope you had fun with it. Yes, it's gonna be hype when Johto releases. Gonna be very cool. AMIs, hello, how goes it? Italy is so hot here. Yeah, no, that's fair. Guess all of Europe is suffering. But yeah, things are going pretty solid over here. Yeah, there. Things are going pretty solid over here, other than the heat. You've had it for 10 years? Dude, imagine the size of the explosion that's going to occur. That's really dangerous. You gotta, like, release it immediately, dude. It's a shiny. Look up shiny. Dude, shinies are made up. They're made up by Big Explosion. Big Explosion wants you to believe shinies are real. Big Explosion. You need help. Big Explosion is a funny joke. Big Explosion. They're the ones who beamed the plans and schematics for the first nuclear bomb were beamed into Oppenheimer's head by Big Explosion. It's all a conspiracy. Big Explosion wants you to believe the nuclear war will end the world. Don't listen to Big Explosion. When you get Tears of the Kingdom and complete the starter area, you're heading to the plateau. That's fair. I'd recommend doing some of the main story first. Because for whatever reason, you actually have to do story progress to unlock the map. But, I think that was one of the first areas I headed as well. Oh, you're Melon, you're here for 5 minutes and all you hear is this bull melon. Thank you for helping your dizziness, you're very happy. Oh, I'm glad I could help. Hopefully the dizziness passes soon. I hope you're faring well with the heat. You have an entire Pokedex full of shinies? Oh, yo, that's hype. I don't know, I considered doing shiny dexes at points. Maybe I will one day. I remember when BDSP came out, I considered doing a shiny dex of Sinnoh, but I didn't do that in the end. Maybe one day. Maybe at some point. But not today, because we got to get this Minccino, you know? I keep on minimizing my, highly high-tech, advanced counter app that isn't the calculator app. I keep on minimizing it by accident, instead of, like, clicking on it to increment. Oh, you're not... Okay, right. I don't know how I keep on forgetting it. Like, I'll make the mistake enough times that eventually I will remember that you don't feel the heat. But... lucky. Because I do. And it is boiling. You're doing the same mapping plan you did in Breath of the Wild. You mark a tower and replace a symbol with a marker with the new diamond symbol. And then you walk to a new region, you'll know exactly where to go. That is smart. They're, like, good and easy to navigate to in this one, though. Because they have, like, giant lights that light up the sky around them and everything. Just dizzy, and I helped it by making you more dizzy. Because the bull melon you just said explodes, exactly. You gotta be careful. Reset. Ever a different color Pokemon, reset. Because of big explosion. Honestly, that might be another clip. I don't know why I find the concept of big explosions so funny. How many light routes exist in the depths? Do you want the number, or do you want to find out? Because I've done all the light routes. The reward isn't worth it, I want to be clear. The reward for getting all the light routes isn't worth it. You get more of a reward for getting all the towers. But there are 120 light routes in Hyrule. Well, in the depths. And also, each light route is directly below a shrine. And the name of the light route is the corresponding shrine's name backwards. I mean, it's meant to make, like, the depths dark and treacherous to explore. You know, it's kind of like the spirit of the depths. If there were just, like, large portions of map that you could unlock at any time, it'd, like, kind of invalidate the fact that the depths is really dark, you know? I mean, you can set down markers like the towers whenever you find the shrines. Exactly, that's one of the useful things. Because you can use the shrines to find light routes and light routes to find shrines. And honestly, I'd say it's kind of easier to do it the other way around because a lot of shrines are underground. Like, there are a lot of cave shrines. I don't know what percentage, but, like, there are a lot of cave shrines. And it really does make them a lot harder to, like, locate. The shrines, that is. So, like, honestly, the light routes are the, best. Are, like, easier to find than shrines often. Like, I did complete all the light routes specifically to find all the shrines. That was, like, my train of thought. And I beat the final shrine. I beat the final shrine in the game before I beat the final dungeon. Which I find funny. You're going to Goron City first? Oh, that's understandable. I hope you have fun getting lit with them. Yeah, I'd say the Goron area is probably my second favorite area. Like, I've seen some people call the temple, like, annoying. But I think the temple is annoying, but easily, like... a temple which it's easy to, like, do your own thing in instead, if that makes sense. Like... it's very much a temple that has a very clear solution. But if you get stuck on said solution, you can, like, easily... substitute in your own solution. That is a solution... the solution probably being two fans stuck to a controlling thing. But that's not the point. That's a solution all the same. You're doing the same fairy upgrade system you did in Breath of the Wild. Whenever you complete a dungeon, you'll upgrade all your armor to the next level. Will you? That's a really good system there. It'd be a shame if you had to start a quest in a specific region and do stuff specifically to get the next fairy fountain upgraded. I'd beaten 2 dungeons by the time I got fairy fountains. In fact, I had 2 dungeons in the Master Sword by the time I got the capability to upgrade my armor. Although that was mostly because the quest to start the armor upgrading starts in Hebra. So you have to, like, do something in Hebra, then... what's it called? Yeah, do something in Hebra, and then you can, like, go around to all the fairy fountains and do stuff there. But you have to complete, like, a bunch of prerequisite quests to actually get all of the fairy fountain stuff. Like, I don't know, I think it'd be cooler if the quest started closer to home instead of right by a dungeon. Like, right by story progress, because it's very much... like, Tears of the Kingdom is generally a very open game. But it feels like the beginning of the game was made a lot more linearly. Like, the boss in the Rito area is definitely the easiest boss. And I think that's because it was meant to be the boss you do first. Although I did find out recently that you don't have to use a bow for that boss. There's another way you can do it. Which I think is very interesting. Bet the DLC will have the Trial of the Sword. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe. Although, I mean, like, minor spoilers, like, this isn't spoiling anything at all, but the Master Sword doesn't actually display its strength next to it. So I'd wonder what the Trial of the Sword would even be, you know? Like, the Master Sword just has, like, a blank area instead of its actual, like, attack power. And I don't really know what that means. I don't know if it, like, its true attack power is, like, a multiplication of whatever you fuse to it, or what. It definitely does more damage than what you fuse to it. I've noticed that much. But, like, I don't know how its damage works, but it works weirdly, that's all I know. And I'm not really sure if I'm a fan of it or not. Oh no. But yeah. Remember what you said that you'll go to Gerudo Desert for your first dungeon? That was a mistake. The Gerudo region manages to be the hardest in both games, I'd say. Which is funny because my most recent playthrough of Breath of the Wild and my first Tears of the Kingdom playthrough, both... I went to Gerudo first in both. So it was just like... peaking in difficulty then, and then going down. It's also funny doing Gerudo first because, like... that's easily the best dungeon. But I'd say the lead-up... I mean, it's good that there's variations in the lead-up, but I'm not sure I like the lead-up to the Lightning Temple as much as, say, the Fire Temple, or especially the Wind Temple. Wind Temple has the best lead-up and design, I think. Although I do like the Lightning Temple as well. In fact, no, I think the Fire Temple has the best design. The Fire Temple's got a really cool design. Yeah, Wind Temple has best lead-up. Lightning Temple is the best temple. Fire Temple has the best design. Water Temple exists. I don't know what my favorite... No, my favorite boss is the Spirit Temple boss. Easy. You're doing Wind last, definitely. Again, I'm not sure how much I'd recommend that. Because you'll very much be going to an anti-climax of the final boss. The Wind Temple boss is the easiest by far. And again, if you want to upgrade your armor, you have to go to Rito Village. It's like, unless you go there and then immediately ping off. But I wouldn't recommend doing the Wind Temple last, just because, like... I mean, unless you don't mind, I'd say it's a really real anticlimax. Because that boss is not hard. What's the spirit one like? The spirit one you need 10 hearts to get to. I'd say it's definitely up there for me. I think in part because I accidentally stumbled across it. And it does interesting stuff with, like, the building mechanics of the game. And I like the power you get from it a lot as well. But... I'm not really sure there is a bar. I'd say it's probably, like, in the middle of the ranking for me. But the boss fight is definitely the best. Much higher ranking for me. Okay, fine, you'll get max stamina wheel? Wait, when did I imply anything about that? I mean, you should. Stamina is very useful. I'm trying to remember when I had max stamina by. I think it might have been by the second dungeon. Normally you run full hearts. Interesting. I don't know, I feel like by the time you have full hearts, you're probably good enough at the game to, like, avoid most attacks. And, like, I feel like those 2 extra hearts don't really do much for adding to like, for helping you survive. If that makes sense. What was I saying? Yeah, no, like, I feel like, full hearts isn't as useful as full stamina, because you can use that last bit of stamina. But those last couple of hearts, I feel like you generally won't be, like, surviving on, like, 1.5 or just over that. Because enemies tend to not even be able to do half your health in that kind of way. Like, if they're doing that much of your health, they're probably doing most of your health, you know? You're on a Twitch stream with Colton Lam and it was Polish? So yeah, rare. I mean, you can sort Twitch streams by language, right? Good that you found one, though. Right. You can sort Twitch streams by language. People generally tag the stream with the language they speak. For ease of discoverability. I think Twitch is good for that. You start the Fray quest and just run by Rito Village and move on towards Death Mountain. That's fair. I kind of regret not doing that, honestly. But at Day's End, I didn't really need the armor upgrades until I got them. I'm still interested to see where the furthest I'm going to get into the game is. Like, by accident. Because, like, I'm still, like, accidentally going into the, what's it called? Like, I keep on accidentally, like, going more into the text here. And, like, I've seen the gender select screen. And I feel like it won't take too long before I get through that by accident. And just end up in the game. I'm gonna end up in the game, choose a starter, and it's gonna be shiny, watch. Accidentally just getting the wrong shiny entirely, and ending up phasing for Juniper's Minccino, which I feel like would be funny. I feel like that would be a funny event, phasing for Juniper's Minccino, you know? You've seen, but they're recommended like the worst Polish Twitch streamers ever. Ah, understandable. That's not great. But yeah, I don't really use Twitch anymore. I mean, I need to watch streams more, I think, anyway. More for, like, research. Should watch other people's streams to make my streams better, you know? But... what's it called? Yeah, I need to, like, have a functional brain. That's what I need to have. Yeah, I need to watch more streams. What you've seen from the Ganondorf boss fight, you're basically Virgil from Devil May Cry 5. I've not played that, but the Ganondorf boss fight is... It's a damn good boss. Brilliant final boss. If I have any complaints at all, it's that I wish you actually use your main abilities more. But like... what's it called? Like, as a boss, it's easily one of, like, the hypest fights. A very, very cool one. Like, some shit is pulled in that blew my mind. I won't, like, spoil it or anything. Because I think it's a boss fight best just experienced. You know? Best experienced, because it is, like, a culmination of, like, everything you've done up until that point in the game. That was the easiest boss fight you've ever fought. As in Virgil? Alright. Calamity Ganon. Oh, fair. I mean, yeah, I meant the Ganondorf from Tears of the Kingdom, to be clear. I mean, like, I wouldn't say Calamity Ganon was easy. I wouldn't say it was, like, that hard, per se. I'd probably still give that to Thunderblight. But Thunderblight's very much the kind of boss that after you start to get a hang of the game's controls, like Furry Rush and shit, Thunderblight becomes a lot easier. But I wouldn't say Calamity's, like, easy. I'd say it's more on, like, the medium end. I could just dodge Virgil for days. While vibing to his battle theme. It's always a good boss when you feel motivated to stall the fight, to listen to the fight theme for longer. Right. I feel like I wanted to talk about something in the stream, but I can't remember what. All right, I remember now. I was thinking of this earlier, because I saw a Pokemon thread, and, but it's funny, because I always think back to, like, a few years ago, before Three Houses released, Fire Emblem Three Houses released, when, like, a big joke in the community was no one hates Fire Emblem more than Fire Emblem fans. And I'm not really sure how true that is for Fire Emblem itself, because, like, I feel like like, Fire Emblem fans, I think especially nowadays, like, there's a lot more love for Fire Emblem in the community. But, I think that title does apply true to Pokemon fans. Like, I feel like if you ever go into, like, any post about Pokemon that kind of reaches the wider Pokemon community, you will just instantly see people bashing Pokemon as a franchise. Like, it won't take moments. That's, like, one of the refreshing things, because, like, obviously Reddit is... Okay, abridged version for people who don't know. Basically, Reddit's removing functionality that lets, like, bots and other apps work with it. So, like, auto-moderation, also, like, moderation bots and stuff won't work, and additionally, like, outside apps that, say, help the app be used by blind people will no longer work. Unless the people making them pay, like, $300 to Reddit. I don't know how often that is, but I'm pretty sure it's not even a one-time fee. And obviously people are mad about this. So a lot of subreddits are just going dark for a few days. Some indefinitely until, like, the changes are reverted. But obviously I think that's shitty, so I'm not going to be using Reddit for a couple of days. Till, like, protest against Reddit, so, like, their user data goes down. I don't think it's gonna work. I feel like they've, like, set their minds to this. This is just, like, one of those social media does shitty decisions, and there's nothing anyone can do about it, and we just kind of have to sit back and watch. Which I feel like that's been becoming, like, common recently. Which isn't that great. Like, of just social medias being very cocky with, like, their moves. All the way back from, like, when Tumblr entirely banned porn. To more recent events, like, Twitter verification. Yeah, Twitter's a big one. Like, but I feel like these social medias are becoming too comfortable, if that makes sense, in their positions. Which is a shame. Like, it'd be good if, like, there was more to challenge them. But there just isn't. Anyway, to TDLR this, I have moved my Reddit app off of where it was before, so I can't click on it instinctively to just browse, you know? Like, because I knew that the thing I was going to be doing over these next couple of days, if I didn't do that, was, like, clicking on Reddit and just browsing for a bit and being like, oh, wait a minute, the posts are so shit today because of, like, the subs shutting down in protest. So what I did was I moved it, and I put Tumblr in its place. And, like, it seems like the Tumblr Pokemon community just has so much more care for the franchise. Like, the Tumblr Pokemon fans seem to, like, actually like Pokemon. Which is a nice contrast to what seems like most other corners of the fandom, where they just all seem to despise it. Like, I often just see long, rambling posts about burying aspects of the franchise that people like, you know? And it's just nice to see, like, people actually appreciating Pokemon. Facebook is definitely a big one. You almost got a heart attack from it. Wait, what? Why did Facebook almost give you a heart attack? But yeah, I feel like, the issue is like a new social media doesn't really hit the internet like Storm. Just messing. Arthur, exaggeration, hyperbole. I could say hyperbole, but hyperbole is just a much more satisfying thing to say. You know, like, why pronounce it correctly when you can say hyperbole? Sounds like the Super Bowl, but in space. The joke there is American football wouldn't be played anywhere outside of America. But yeah, the issue is, like, new social medias don't just pop up in, like, that kind of quick and easy way. Weekly report, 9 hours and 17 minutes a day. Dude, have you considered, like, going on a walk? Have you considered getting more fresh air? The weekly report is one of the most humbling things, just to see how much time you've spent on your phone in the week. Like, it's always like, damn, I need to not do that. And then not improve at all. You should try to do a week without phone. Honestly, that might be a shout. Like, I feel like it doesn't, like, need to be permanent or anything like that. Just, like, a period of time where you deliberately, like, go out of your way to do things more manually instead of online. If you have a question, open a book! You could probably pair it with something else, though. Like, a week's holiday to, like, somewhere with low internet connection. Pulls out Nintendo Switch, no! Don't go from one attention brick to another. Yes, I'll put my phone hours down by playing Tears of the Kingdom for 13 hours a day. Alright. I mean, yeah, I was a little bit embarrassed to find out I put 100 hours to Tears of the Kingdom in, like, 2 weeks. Like, that is a lot of time. That's, like, 14 days. That's well over 10 hours a day. Unemployed people be like, man, I got a link in Zelda tomorrow. I gotta be up for Tears of the Kingdom tomorrow. I gotta Ganon my Dorf. Anyway. Issue is it's so hot at the moment that, like, I don't know, I guess it's not too hot to function weather yet. It's, like, too hot, but I would say it's not too hot to function yet. But, like, we're gonna get into, like, July and August, and it's gonna get to that point where it's just too hot to do anything in a day, you know? But, like, doing shit becomes a pain, and you just don't want to do anything. And I'm not looking forward to that. I remember vividly last year when it got, like, well over 40 degrees, just sitting on my bed, curtains drawn, fan aimed directly at my face, just, like, lying like a starfish, dying. You know that scene from the SpongeBob SquarePants movie? I can't remember the context for the scene, but, like, they're taken out of the water and, like, put underneath, like, a bright light, and they both, like, shrivel up into, like, just basically the real-life equivalents of themselves, before David Hasselhoff saves them. That was me. I don't know if you guys remember anything from those days. I wouldn't blame you for not. But just, like, when it got really hot for, like, no reason. You'll smash Korok, dog. As long as you mean with a boulder. Because don't make me say the line. Don't fuck the Koroks. You Patrick? Yeah. I could live under a rock, to be fair. I'd be down to live under a rock. Metaphorically and physically. Under rocks are cool. 'Cause there'd be like a bunch of like wood lice and bugs, and that'd be fun, you know? Like imagine like vibing under a rock and like a little worm crawls past you, be like, whoa, that's crazy. You know? I would be like, whoa, that's crazy. I bet you'd get to see a beetle once or twice. Like, that would be cool. Maybe even a slug. Fantastic. Great stuff. You Korok? No. I might be green, but I'm not a Korok. I, controversially, would not steal some guy's shit. Literally. Showdown is a mess right now. I've saw the guy who, like, runs it talking about getting a bunch of backlash for a decision recently. Which isn't that great. That's why I do all my fighting on Poke MMO. Hehehe. Volcarona finally sent where it belongs. Ah, fair. Was it banned? Where it'll be crushed by God itself. I think Volcarona could take down God. I mean, Volcarona, like, is a god in some ways. Because, like, it replaced the sun, didn't it? That's what I always found whack about Volcarona, is that it isn't a legendary. It falls into that, like, looks like a legendary, smells like a legendary, tastes like a legendary, is not a legendary, you know? I always find that whack about it. I, personally, like Pokemon like that. That aren't legendaries, but, like, almost are. You know? Like, Rotom and Spiritomb kind of fall into that category. Rotom, not so much anymore. Spiritomb did for a while, but now it can be found anywhere. Volcarona, I think, lost that status, like... Yeah, no. Volcarona lost, like, the almost legendary status literally in the next generation. Where, like, in Gen 6, in Auraz, you can find Lavester in the wild. Which I find a shame. I don't know, I wouldn't... I would personally encourage the return of, like, that kind of weird, encountered like a legendary but isn't type Pokemon, you know? Because I think those are cool. I think those kind of Pokemon are very cool, honestly. I'm a big fan. But it feels like, some Pokemon are, like, losing their rareness, you know? Like, I can see complaints about, like, Rotom. On one hand, I think it's cool that they're, like, adapting Rotom into, like, the world's lore. Like, because that's, like, a really cool, like, lore tidbit of the Pokemon world is, like, Rotom... What was it called? Brain. Like, on one hand, I really like the lore with Rotom. Like, how in, like, Alola it was used to possess the Pokedex. and then from there, Rotom-based technology only got, like, better. Because that makes sense. That's a really cool thing and part of the lore. But I can also vibe with people who are upset that Rotom is no longer special. Because, like, everybody now has a Rotom in their mobile phone. But in general, while I think Rotom is fine, it kind of saddens me to see, like, they don't really have, like, an almost legendary Pokemon around for more than a gen anymore. Like, again, Volcarona, as previously mentioned, kind of fell into that trap. A Zoroark fell into that trap as well. And then I don't think there's been one since Volcarona and Zoroark, honestly. I think those were the last two, right? Because there wasn't really anything like that in Kalos. Or, Alola, was there? Yeah, I don't think there was at all. That was just kind of the last time it happened. It happened in Gens 4 and 5 and then stopped. For whatever reason. And I ain't really sure why. Volcarona in Gen 6 got nuked by a Celerock. Gen 6? We sure about Gen 6? That the final answer. Gen 7, there we go. Did other Pokemon get a Celerock in Gen 8? I forget. I don't know, that's another thing that I wonder what people think about, is like... getting mixed up with generations, damn it. Oh wait, that was an addendum to my other thought. It's funny, like, how people are always commenting on, like, Pokemon getting worse. Because today, in that, like, same thread that I was talking about earlier, but today I saw someone saying, Pokemon's been falling off since Sun and Moon. But, like, 3 years ago, the sentiment was, Pokemon's been falling off since X and Y. Like, it's funny to see it slowly creep forward to specifically, like, account for the current people's nostalgia. Like, criticism conveniently leaves out the games that people grew up with as it kind of progresses on, and it becomes obvious. And you have to wonder, are things getting worse? Or are people just becoming uninterested in kids' games as they grow up? Is that the horse riding theme from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom? It is. It is. I added some Breath of the Wild tracks to it the week because yeah. Yeah. Good soundtracks. I need to, like, add more. Tricky question, quite. I don't know. I can... Like, I think that there's, like, an actual conversation to be had about it. Yeah, I think there's an actual conversation to be had about it, but I don't think it's as simple as Pokemon declining in quality. Like, I don't think that's the case. Because it's clear they can still pump out bangers if they want to. Like, Scarlet and Violet as games are great. Hell, the Pokemon look great as well. It's just like the world graphics. And it makes you wonder if it's the world graphics, is it the world rendering that's done off, you know? Like, I feel like, to me, it's still clear that there's a lot of effort that people are putting into these games. It's just... I think, A, nostalgia is a hell of a drug. B, because of, like, that nostalgia, what is being given seems even more underwhelming. Even when it isn't... Even when it is not great. Like, the glitches and stuff in Scarlet and Violet. Or Sword and Shield's just general... sword and shieldiness. I'm going to phrase it as that. The person who invented milking a cow, what was that man trying to do in the first place? I mean, like... I feel like when you phrase it like that, it does become like a... But you have to wonder if maybe it was like for a baby or something at first, and then it just slowly spread, you know? Because, like... Was the guy who first milked the cow milking the cow to drink it himself? Or was he milking it because his wife had passed, and he was like, well, the calves suckle on this, so maybe it's good enough for a human baby as well. Like... I'd be interested to find out where the origin actually came from. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was something closer to that. I'd like to believe the first cow milker was just helping the baby cow. What, just trying to show a baby cow how it's done by suckling on a cow's udder? Or is the suggestion you're making not quite that? Well, not that, but sure. After playing Breath of the Wild, you kind of fell playing Scarlet Violet, to be honest. Comparing a big open world game to a game with similar limitations, you've been playing more Breath of the Wild than Scarlet Violet. That's fair. I can't slate that. Like... The issue is you're very much putting a very well-polished game, made for 6 years, up against Scarlet and Violet. I don't know, I still think Scarlet Violet does some things, like, interestingly. And I don't think I'm going to stop playing it entirely, because I still like doing stuff like raids and things. But fundamentally, yeah, it'd never beat out Breath of the Wild for me. But, like, I never really expected it to, by the same token. Like, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, by extension, are both, like, masterfully put together open world games. Yeah, both masterfully put together open world games that have such charm, whimsy, and sense of discovery that it's insane. So I'd argue comparing Scarlet and Violet to them is unfair. I mean, maybe not, but, like, I'm not going to, at least. Then comparing Gen 9 and 8, you enjoyed the competitive system in Sword and Shield because there's an actual battle tower. That's fair. No, I can't slate that at all. I'm bummed that there's no battle system in Gen 8. Gen 8? Gen 7? Gen 7? Gen 9? Cahir. Like, that's honestly one of my main complaints with Scarlet and Violet, is the fact that, like, there's no battle system like that. And I don't really get why they removed it to begin with. Sure, I'll transfer Pokemon from Sword and Shield to Scarlet and Violet. Just use ability captures that you can't get without DLC. You know what, that's smart, I can't slate that. But yeah, on one hand, I hope we get it in the DLC. On the other hand, I think it'd be scummy to lock that feature behind DLC. But then again, I'm buying the DLC anyway, so I'll take it if it is. Like, I'll take it, but I'll be like... This... Like... I mean, yeah, I'd be buying the DLC, like, no matter what, bluntly put. Like... I'm interested to see what the new area is going to be like. And I'm a massive Pokemon fan as it is, so, like... But... What was it called? It's like, I'll take it if it is, but, like... I'd still be like, why isn't this in the main thing? I'd still be upset that it wasn't, and I wouldn't slate people for not buying the DLC specifically because of that. Because they'd done that. The limited time raids have been going on while you're in school. You've been missing out on special raids. There hasn't been a limited time raid for a month. Like, we're on the same page on this, right? Like, we've not had a limited time raid for, like, a literal month. Yeah. Chestnut is coming out at the end of this week. Well, not coming out, but the rerun's going to be at the end of the week. So that'll be the end of the week stream, will be Chestnut. Would highly recommend tuning in. Will be good. Especially if you guys who have online want a Chestnut of your own. And we can also get Great Tusk or Iron Treads, depending on your version. Which will be nice. Sun and Moon was the peak of competitive. You missed those days. I feel like... Wait, was Sun and Moon your first competitive game? Yeah, it was, yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's easier to put the first time you did something on a pedestal. All the same, though, that's fair. Does Showdown not have, like, a function where you can play that again? I don't know. I heard a lot of people complaining because it was like a clusterfuck of Z-moves, primals, and megas. And Incineroar... Wait, was Incineroar an issue then, or was Incineroar only an issue in Gen 8? Like, obviously, Incineroar didn't have Intimidate for a bit. Interesting. But yeah, still. I can see why people weren't too fond. Like, as a non-competitive player, I can say I like Z-moves a lot, but I understand why someone in competitive might dislike Z-moves. Because competitively, they're a very restrictive mechanic. In the fact that you have to give your Pokemon the item to, like, let them use it. Which means that unless you're willing to sacrifice multiple slots, multiple move slots, not move slots, item slots on a Pokemon, multiple item slots on different Pokemon, then if your one Z-mover is taken out, that's it. They can be blocked by Protect too, exactly. So as a more casual player, I can say Z-moves are probably my second favorite mechanic. I think Terrestrialization beats them out, for me. Like, I do like Terrestrialization a lot, but... what was it called? Yeah, no, I like Z-Muse. I think they're cool. I like the idea of like one big, all-out powerful attack. I think the animations are fun. I don't think they're good all the time necessarily, but I think they're fun. Along with the poses. But I can see why competitive players wouldn't like them. Terra coverage makes it easier. Terra makes coverage easier to make, which is good. Yeah, no, definitely. Indeed, Kakariko Village. Again, there are a few Breath of the Wild tracks on the playlist now. There will be more popping up. I can guarantee it. Crazy, we've already done 150 encounters. We're about like halfway in the stream, so what, we'll probably get to about just under 900, which is whack. For an intense battle theme in the future stream, use the Blight theme. I don't know, I don't remember the Blight theme being that much of a banger, but maybe. I don't tend to like mix music on live though anyway. I tend to just leave it to the game. But if I was to use an intense fight theme, it'd be Dialga's fight to the finish. Hands down. Dialga's fight to the finish is easily my favorite battle theme in anything ever. I don't know who was reacting to that, but I'm guessing it was another Dialga's fight to the finish connoisseur. Because that's such a good final fight theme, I swear. Like, easily my favorite, one of the most hype ones as well. Like, I think the only other fight themes that come close are like... yeah, the only other fight themes that like come close, I'd say, are Fire Emblem ones. For me, like Twilight of the Gods, God-Shattering Star, and... what's it called? The Birthright and Conquest ones are all, like, very hype themes, but I think Dialga's fight to the finish still, like, beats them all out. And the funny thing about Dialga's fight to the finish, I'm not slating anybody who's done one of these, to be clear. Like, they're still good, but I've never heard a remix that quite catches the hype of the original. The music's still shuffled, right? Yeah, it is. It's just playing in order. Anyway, Anyway, you're gonna go. Good luck with the stream. Understandable, aim-wise. I hope you have a great rest of your day. But yeah, I've never heard a remix of Dialga's fight to the finish that quite encapsulates the hype of the original. Because it's a weird form of hype, you know? Because it's like... It's not a very, like, high-energy, high-octane, constantly upbeat song. Well, no, it is an upbeat song. But, like, constantly intense song, you know? Like, it's not like, say, the Ultra Necrozma theme or something. Like, it's a fun theme because there's a lot of hope under it as well, it feels like. It feels, as much as it's like a final boss theme, it feels like it's reminiscing across the whole journey you've taken to get there as well. Like, you're reminiscing on, like, the whole journey to get up to Dialga. From, like, the very start. And I really appreciate that about it. I'm not sure if I've already gushed on this. Because, just over a year ago, actually, I think. Just about a year ago was when I played, Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Skies. Which was like a... What was it called? Renegade Platinum style ROM hack of Explorers of Sky. So I'm not sure if I talked about it then. I definitely turned it up and jammed to it for a bit. But other than that, I'm not sure if I, like, properly discussed it. It's kind of wild that that's a year ago as well. Like, Stuart's here. So they know, that about a year ago, I DM'd them like, hey, I want to make Cahir green. Like, mint Cahir, me in my current form. The idea, the concept, I think even, is about a year old at this point. Which I think is very cool. I think is very cool indeed. Kind of whack though. And then obviously in October, it'll have been a year since my re-debut. But yeah. I'm not sure how many people... Oh. Got anything planned for it? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. What's it called? I'd say my streaming anniversary is a more, like, relevant date for me, if that makes sense. Like, the re-debut was more, like, a second phase to my stream. To, like, myself as a content creator. Which is funny because it very much came during a year of a bunch of second phases for myself as a content creator. As I switched to Pokemon streaming, then switched to YouTube. Also, that year. But I don't know, like, I'd say, like, all three of those things I'd see as, like, more minor ideas in comparison to, like, the day I started streaming, you know? The day I started streaming regularly. Maybe I will do something for it, but I'm not sure. One thing is certain, I do not have the money for a new model or anything, so don't expect anything like that anytime soon, that's for certain. But yeah. It's 10:06 and you have school tomorrow, so goodbye and good luck. Understandable, Brugger. I hope you get a great night's sleep. Yeah, I hope you have a good night and a good tomorrow. Good luck with school. But yeah, on what I was saying before, but to turn it around to you guys, I don't know how many people are here to answer the question, but to turn it around to you guys, what's your guys' favorite final fight theme, favorite final boss theme? Do any final boss themes stick out to you guys? They can be from any franchise as well. Don't feel limited. Any final boss theme. Fair enough. Maybe a simple you laugh you lose stream again. The last one was fun. Even though it clashed with you being away. That's fair. I'm still thinking about doing another one of those at some point. Like I definitely want to do another one. But I'm aware it's gonna need more build up. So, like, I'm kind of biding my time. To, like, put it at a good time, you know? Because, like, the issue with the last one was there wasn't enough videos to, like, make up a whole stream of just constant videos. So I had to stagger them. If I did it again, I'd want it to be all videos, you know, all me reacting to videos the whole time. And and yeah. So we'll see. But it'll come eventually, I think. Too good of an idea to not. I have got other plans. We'll see how successful they are in given current social media happenings, though. One-Winged Angel. Oh, fair. I didn't realize that was a final boss theme. I thought that was just Sephiroth's theme. Although, to be fair, I've not properly listened to it either, so... But maybe I should if it's that hype. Well, he is the final boss. Ah, fair. I mean, like, I'm not, like, surprised by that. Per se. Like, I know he's had presence in the story, so I know he kills that girl. But, like, that's why I assumed, like, it was just, like... I don't really know much about Final Fantasy VII, I'm gonna be honest. I know. There's one point where Cloud cross-dresses. And I know Tifa Lockhart's in it. And that's about it. That's about as far as my knowledge of Final Fantasy VII goes. Which is probably a good thing, because if I ever play it, I won't know much about it for that. And I might at some point, I don't know. I don't know if it'll be a streamed thing. I'm guessing it's like a 100-hour JRPG. Like, that's like my hesitancy. Like, that's one of the nice things about Pokemon as a franchise. Is like, I can guarantee it'll be over in 8 or so streams. I think even Mystery Dungeon was about 12. But, if I were to play, say, like, Xenoblade, or the Fire Emblem Three Houses or something on stream, like, that would be a very long series. I think I'd have to, like, make the streams longer for that series specifically, just so I could actually get through it all. Okay, so, like, each stream is generally about 3 hours long. So a 30-hour game would take about 10 streams. So a 90-hour game would take 30 streams. So I'd be looking at about, like, 33 streams. Which, divided by 2, would be about 15 weeks. Which is a while. Well, I mean, it's in different parts, but part 1 of the remake is, I think, shorter. Well, 33 hours is in part 1 of the... I mean, like, I'm not sure I'd have the money for the remake. Isn't the remake only on PlayStation as well? Or is it on PC? So again, it'd be a while. I think it's on PC now. Oh, whack. That's good. But yeah, we'll see. I don't mind, like, having gaming experiences to myself anyway. It's nice to be able to play a game without having to worry about, like, eyes being on you, I think. Like, that's one thing I always hear about, like, full-time streamers. Is, like, sometimes it's just nice to play a game on your own. And that's always something I've done during my time streaming, is, like, been willing to play games on my own. I've never been in the camp to stream every gaming experience I ever have. And I know that that becomes a bit of a problem with some variety streamers. Is they get, like, too in the headspace of, oh, I should be streaming this. I don't know, I have been wondering about branching out sooner rather than later. At points, maybe? I don't know. We'll see. Shiny hunting will be a constant, though. I'm always going to shiny hunt, I think. I always want to shiny hunt. Shiny hunting is fun, and I've always found it fun. And one thing I enjoy about streaming is the fact that I can kind of do a bit of shiny hunting each week. Like, a big issue is like, a hunt, when you're like not a streamer in shiny hunt, like in my experience, you just like spend like a month or so shiny hunting, like various Pokemon, and then you just drop off, you know? And like, even when I've been shiny hunting things off stream, when I have been playing Pokemon, it's still just that, you know? It's still just me like going constant on a thing. And like, streaming it means it's like a nice, small, bite-sized bit of hunt. I guess they also get into the thing where it's your job to play games, so maybe you might get the headspace of games are work, not enjoyment. Yeah, no, that very much too, I bet, is a big issue. I guess that's one of the nice things about streaming being more of a hobby, is I don't have to worry about that. I keep on just brain-deadly staring at the Minccino for a bit, just spamming through the dialogue, as if it's not time to reset. But yeah, that's why I think, like, as a streamer, if you have free time and want to play a game on your own, you should. Because it can very much help you enjoy a game in a different way. Speaking of Xenoblade 2, this is Tantal's theme. Xenoblade Twitter's a funny place because, like, Xenoblade has, like, a very, like, dedicated fan base, I find. Like, I've only played 2, and I've not even played the DLC of 2. It was, like, a thing that I was gonna get, but I never got around to getting, you know? But, like, it's interesting to see how dedicated of a fan base it has as a series. Where, like, there's still always discussion of it in the LOLs. Like, I feel like that's not always the same kind of... A lot of series I find kind of start going dark during the LOLs, you know? But Xenoblade tends to, like, properly keep active. Should try the PlayStation games. They're pretty niche. Oh yeah, the Xenosaga. I've always considered doing that, honestly. But maybe at some point. I know that's where Cosmos is from. She's like a nice throwback. Maybe I will at some point. I guess more plausible than me playing Definitive or 3 at some point. Well, I mean, at the moment. Maybe. I don't know, I'm just aware that I probably poured a bit too much time into Tears of the Kingdom. I should probably, like, focus on getting other things sorted. Instead of, like, slamming myself headfirst into a new hyperfixation. I feel like there are better ideas than starting a long-ass JRPG after finishing a long-ass... What kind of game does Zelda even fall into? I mean, I guess it kind of... I don't know, I guess RPG is... like... adventure mod, I guess? Yeah, I don't know, RPG kind of has become, like, associated with, like, leveling and stuff. But I guess that's not... Is it what that means nowadays? Because you're very much kind of playing the role of Link. But thanks for pouring hours into that game. It's an easy game to pour hours into, I think. Like, I found myself playing it, and, like, getting so invested in doing shit, and looking at the timer like an hour had passed, and it just hadn't felt like an hour at all. There was one play session I did where it felt like every time I looked at the clock, another hour had passed. Like, it sucks you in well. I'm, like... The Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are just such good games. I'm interested to see if they do try the approach with future Zelda games or not. Like, by the sound of it, that's what they want to do. But, like, they're gonna have a lot to live up to, you know? I'm also not sure if they should continue with the whole you can beat the final boss immediately type beat. Like, it's a cool idea on like, paper, but I feel like it's limiting, you know? Like, I think a lot of people's biggest complaint, and mine included, with Breath of the Wild and Tears, is how... Well, not with Breath of the Wild, sorry, but with Tears, is how, like, little presence Ganondorf has throughout the story, you know? Like, because once again, you can just go straight to the final boss. With, like, a stick and a lot of fury. But yeah, I feel like that kind of limits the amount of, like, impact Ganondorf can have on the story, you know? Like, it would have been nice to have him have more presence, have more interactions, build him up as a person more. But because of the way the game was structured, that couldn't happen. So I'd like him, whatever they do next, to maybe, like, let... I guess the issue is, like, how open can you be if you've got a set story? But, like, if there's a feasible way to actually have the villain be able to be built up throughout the course of the story, then I'd say that would be, like, the best way they could do it. Like, I feel like it worked decently well with Calamity Ganon, because Calamity Ganon was just a force of nature. But Ganondorf was a guy. And it feels like we don't know much about his motivations or any of the sort by the time we get down to him. It feels like he, as a character, is built entirely off Ganondorfs of the past. You know who Ganondorf is, so you know what to expect going into the Ganondorf fight. But do you know his second name? Exactly, I don't know his second name. Story never told me. No, I do not know his second name. Well, I think I do know his second name, but I've forgotten it. If you are branching out, you could try Persona 5. It's not much of a deviation, you can even Nuzlocke it. I don't know, again, I'm not sure about doing, like, long-ass JRPGs. And I know Persona 5 is a long-ass JRPG. So... Dragma. Huh. Is that a cool reference in that? I feel like that means something, but I'm not aware. Or is this like a Dragma Balls? No, it's a stupid name. Arthur. Has that like always been his second name, or is that just a Tears thing? Isn't like Link? Oh yeah, it's Zelda Hyrule. Ganondorf Dragma. We don't know Link's second name. Link's second name, shrouded in mystery. It could be anything. Ganondorf is German for Demon Village, though. But yeah, it was brought up as a second name and never spoken of since. They just dropped that in and, like, never mentioned it again. I respect that. I respect that. Alright. I'm gonna get to 770 encounters, then I'm gonna go to the toilet. I think it was around Ocarina of Time. Ah, fair. It's like, that was like original Ganondorf. That's like another thing I find wacky about Tears Ganondorf. Like, I was wondering if he was gonna be like the original Ganondorf back again. But this is what? Ganondorf's second incarnation in the timeline? Like, Link and Zelda have had, like, a bazillion different incarnations. But this is only Ganondorf's second. Because in all other appearances, it's just been the Ganondorf. Like, the Ocarina of Time one. But yeah, I'm gonna go to the toilet quickly. I'll be right back. And after I am back, we will continue with the shiny hunt. So make sure to stay tuned. And we are back. But I don't know, I felt the music might be a bit too quiet. I feel like I'm good at having music maybe a bit quiet. I don't know. I like having music because it feels weird to not have any background sound to me. I don't know what it is, but... Also, I'm good at being very quiet when my brain isn't being entirely functional, so it's nice to have you guys... let you guys have something to listen to while my brain was into gear. As my brain slowly kickstarts. As the engines start firing. But they don't. The brain engines don't start firing. Get those cylinders going. Indeed. The brain cylinders. I could do with some more brain cylinders. I feel like that's the point of what I'm saying. I don't know why I had to clarify that. Right. Oh yeah, I watched this interesting video. I think it was like a while back at this point. But it was an interesting video all the same. Like, it felt like it was about last year. A big trend on YouTube became like 100 player, like Minecraft player civilization experiments, they were generally called. Where basically like the person in question got like a bunch of members of their community, put them all in some themed world, and had them all... Was literally watching one of those the other day, yo! Was it the 1,000 player one? Oh, because that's the one I was about to talk about, honestly. I mean, I was about to talk about, like, them in general as an idea, as a concept. But, like, yeah, basically, one with, like, 1,000 players was released the other day. And it continues to fascinate me how, like, they work so well. Because, like, clearly it's, like, a cumulative... Yeah, the one about the 4 different islands, then he added the 5th one halfway through. Even though that kind of did nothing to anything. But yeah, like, it's very much like a collaboration between the person who's, like, making the video and scripting it. As in, like, scripting the video after the thing's over. Because they've got to, like, assemble everything the players have done into, like, one cohesive story for the viewers to watch. But, like, also the people playing it out, like, all have to then coordinate in their own way. But they don't coordinate entirely. And that's how the interesting parts come along, you know? Like... And it's cool to see how different elements come together just naturally of their own volition. Like, obviously these people are going to be playing characters sometimes. Like, I'm sure some of them weren't just themselves while doing things and were deliberately taking on personas. Like, I mean, I guess maybe I'm saying this with a bit too much faith in people, but, like, I doubt that some of the people playing dictators would actually hold those beliefs in, like, how to run things, and were deliberately, like, playing a character to make it more interesting. But just by playing a character to make things more interesting, the loudest song just came on. Anyway, it's funny, like, I turn the music up and then the loudest song immediately starts blaring. But yeah, I don't know, it just fascinates me how, like, 1,000 random people can be dropped into a Minecraft world and you can watch that with minimal interference and watch a story unfold. Because no amount of editing could have saved that series if uninteresting things happened. But no, a variety of interesting things happened. Like, one guy who was interviewed early on and he was like, I'm gonna take over the world. But when things came down to it, and he was given the option, he instead fought for peace and tried to stop war. And just smaller stories emerged, but then became bigger as it went on, and it's just interesting to, like... I guess that's, like, the USP of those videos, like, unique selling point. That's, like, the idea of those videos, is they're not scripted, but still end up bringing such an interesting story to the table. But it's still fascinating to see it unfold and be invested. I'd say that's one of the cooler things about Minecraft as a game, though, is that there are a few other games you could do something like that on, you know? Like, in the grand scheme of things, there aren't loads of games that you could feasibly get 1,000 of your community members into to do that. You're back and have a clear mind? Hell yeah, glad to hear it, Melon. Welcome back. I'm just talking about those, like, 1,000-player Minecraft civilization experiments and how it's impressive that often they still end up having an interesting tale to tell, even though it's just a bunch of random people being dropped into, like, this situation, and how often they still, like, form compelling narratives. And I just think it's really cool how that always manages to happen. Most of their storytelling is better than most movies. I get that comment, but I don't know if I entirely agree. But it still makes a compelling story. I think part of the novelty is that it's not a movie, you know? Like, part of the novelty is it's not been scripted. Like, even if people are playing characters and are deliberately trying to act in a way that makes the story more interesting, it's not scripted. And I think that's one of, like, the parts that ends up being most interesting about it. I mean, I assume it's not scripted. It'd be hard to script it with, like, 1,000 people. And you can, like... There are, like, hints of why it's not just scripted or directed or anything. Because weird things pop up that just kind of don't really have much benefit. Like, the plains ended up with, like, 5 different smaller nations that all, like, came together into, like, an alliance. And, like... I feel like in most cases they wouldn't have done that, you know? Like, why would you think of doing things exactly like that? Instead of just having it be the Plains Kingdom, you know? But yeah. It's cool stuff, and I was just thinking about it because another one came out recently. After, honestly, a lull. But I guess that makes sense, because you can't just always run 100-player experiment. I feel like that would get old fast, and people would just become uninterested in joining them. But yeah, is cool stuff. Well, I guess with that, you'll have people trying to progress a certain narrative, and other factors deliberately impeding it. I mean, yeah, definitely. You can imagine that, like, sometimes people will be trying to, like, do specific things, but then, like, the fact that that's going to be interfered with is part of the intrigue, you know? Like, I'm sure some people will go into the thing being like, I'm gonna make a kingdom and rule the world, and they'll be killed by a creeper on day 2. But, like, I don't know, it's I mean, yeah, it's like the push and pull of what people want to happen and what other people want to happen. It's actually like a good project for a university dissertation. That would be a really interesting project for a university dissertation. Just like rolling up and be like, yeah, I got 1,000 people to play on a Minecraft server for a week. And there were wars. Being a villain and a hero is interesting for a storyline. I'd probably be a villain, because I laugh like I'm the Joker. Okay. I mean, but that's like one of the interesting things, is because, like, you have to wonder what qualities the people who do lead end up having to lead, if that makes sense. Like, are they just... Like, how many of them are just random chance leaders? How many of them go into it intending to lead? Because, like, the average person in that server is just, like, your random everyman, you know? What he also was like about designing game environments through procedural generation versus handmade environments. Ah, interesting. Yeah, I have a couple of friends who are big into game design, and like initially they were like very big on like randomly generated stuff, but it seems like they've come around to the idea that like there are pros and cons to either. I don't know, random generation is cool, but I think it needs to be done right. Right. And then after your friends give you the death stare after you laugh like you're the Joker, are you sure they're not the Joker? Or are they Batman? I almost went to the to the character select screen again. The same conclusion you had in your dissertation. Yeah, no, that's fair. It is probably the correct conclusion of, yeah, there are benefits to both. I didn't even see the Minccino, I just reset it, hi there. Professor Juniper went, hi there, and I was like, no. Go away. Leave. I've become worse at sneezing again. For a bit I was good at sneezing, but now I'm bad at sneezing once more. It's infuriating. It's like the sneezers don't want to be sneezed. Or I guess that's because they're demons, isn't it? It's like every time you sneeze, it's like expelling a demon from your body. But how did the demons get in there? That's right. The demons are the spiders that you eat. The 8 spiders that you eat every year, that's a demon. Up your nose. Or that. Well, on Cahir. What not to do, restart if you haven't seen the Pokemon yet. Look. She didn't have good vibes. She had bad vibes. That time, I feel like if I'd seen that Minccino, it would have been over, you know? And not in like, it was shiny, in like a bad way. Excuses. You saying excuses is also an excuse when you think about it. Don't think about it too hard, though. Had a plane. Weird noise. I don't know, that's the funny part about COVID, was how there were so few planes around, so like, I didn't hear multiple planes a day. You said it once, but you'll say it again. Have I been hit by a hammer? Not recently. No, not recently at all. What scares you the most about COVID? It sounds like your actual name. Corvid? You named after crows? Corvids are cool. Wait, no, I've got a joke, but I can't remember the phrasing of the joke. It's like... Not every group of crows is a murder. Because it's not a murder without a cause. Now it has the vid part, but the co isn't there. Well, yeah, because it's core, because it's corvid. That'll be clear that up. Excuse you, what did you just say? So, not every group of crows is a murder. Because it's not a murder without cause. Oh no, not Corvid, your actual name is David. You see, I was wondering if you meant David. I was not going to say it out loud in case you didn't want it said. And additionally, I didn't think it sounded all that much like COVID. Other than like the vid part. Don't worry, I don't think anyone's going to mistake you on the street. Do, 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 do. Right, I'm going to take a drink. Everyone make sure you're all staying hydrated also. I mean, I'd murder a good cause right now. Is that supposed to be a joke, by the way? Murder crows? I have you confused. Well, a group of crows is called a murder. But you can't have a murder without cars. There's been a couple of times you've been accidentally called COVID. I feel like that's more on them than it is on you, honestly. Anyway, sorry, I got possessed by Peter Griffin there and explained the joke. Hate it when that happens. Well, I guess did I explain the joke? Is that an explanation? When I do it like that? You got it. Like initially, or? Alright. Himalaya City's a banger, honestly. Love a good Himalaya City. I might do another Gen 5 lock. After PokeMMO, honestly. Yeah, the group of crows but also evidence for a murder, exactly. Wait, not evidence. Evidence? Right. Yeah, for murder you must have to have a probable cause. Yeah. Okay, now Peter Griffin's explained the joke. Hey guys, Peter here to explain the joke. Basically, CahirLIVE is a VTuber. That's the joke. Boom, boom. And that's my application for the world's worst Peter Griffin impersonation ever. Look, I never said I could do a good Peter Griffin impression. I've never marketed myself as a good impressionist. I could do a good Golem impression when I was younger. Wah! Mango! How goes it? I hope your week's been going... God not to a good start. How goes it? How goes it? It's hot. Yeah. I hate it. I've been suffering the past few days. My impression is as horrible as your will to live against Fantina's Miss Magius, which says something. It wasn't Golem, that was Waluigi. You see, I was quoting Mango, not quoting Golem. But I think Golem and Waluigi have more in common than you'd first assume. They're quite similar characters, really. Waluigi, yeah, Waluigi and Golem. Similar characters. Not all that different. Pretty close together. Alright. Hopefully Waluigi gets a better game, though. Waluigi's had a game? I didn't even know Waluigi had a game. I don't know, it feels like that kind of stuff isn't as common these days, though. No, but Gollum has. Right, yeah, no, I'm on the same page as you now. Yeah, hopefully Waluigi gets a better game. I don't know, like, we did have a new WarioWare, but it feels like, what's it called? We're not getting as many, like, as much of that kind of stuff anymore. Which is a shame, because I think a Waluigi game would sell very well. Yeah, Gollum has had a game. It released a few weeks ago. And it was universally panned, to the point where the developers had to issue an apology, from what I understand. Let's get a WaluigiWare. I don't want a WaluigiWare. Like, okay, so I've not played WarioWare, so like maybe my opinion isn't entirely informed. But I'd want Waluigi to have his own thing, you know? I wouldn't want Waluigi to just be piggybacking off Wario's success. I'd want it to be like its own thing. Waluigi War. That's actually a great suggestion. I think they should make a first-person shooter where Waluigi gets drafted into the Mushroom Kingdom military and has to fight in a war. And it's just an overall, like, poignant and hard-hitting war story about the horrors of war, in which Waluigi emerges from it a completely changed man, which will never be referenced again, and Waluigi will just be the same as he has always been before in every game after. You know? Like, so it'll almost be like a standalone thing, and people will be clamoring for a sequel for the rest of time. Like, this will become like a bigger thing than even like Mother 3, you know? Now, Waluigi is not getting a first-person shooter. This is Nintendo, not Melon Halloween. Look. I wasn't saying that was what was gonna happen. I'm saying that's what should happen. Just wait. I changed my answer. Just wait. You'll see the Waluigi first-person shooter and you're like, wow, Cahir was right. He's so smart. No, it shouldn't happen. I think you need to, get better taste. Cause smart, big brain, I have missed seeing "cup" put in front of random words, Mango, thank you. That's one of my favourite bits, and it has upset me with how it never caught on. Cause smart indeed. Words. Love that. It's what the first version of Metroid Prime 4 became. True, your uncle works for Nintendo. Ah, understandable. I'm glad your uncle works for Nintendo and can give us this information. Ah yeah, seeing a Waluigi first-person shooting game on the Nintendo Switch, by the way. Definitely won't have blood and definitely won't make children scarred for life. Yeah, no, that's why it's a 15, Melon. Like, this isn't like a kid's game. It's for gritty adults, like Waluigi is, you know? Because that's the thing Nintendo would definitely do with one of their properties, is make a Mario character his own spin-off that is a 15. To tell a gritty war story. That's the problem. Do you have? Nintendo will have the guts to do that. They won't have the guts to do that. They won't have the guts to do that. But they would. They will. You'll see. Again, Rob's uncle works for Nintendo, so he knows. And if he's saying it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Okay, Fox Boy, that's just incorrect. See, Melon's an unreliable narrator in this case, because he thinks I'm a fox. So clearly it's me and Rob's uncle and Rob who are correct on this one, and we're getting the Waluigi first-person shooter as a launch title for the next Nintendo console. I do like the emoji feature. The emoji feature is a good one. Like, where you can, like, do little emojis. I really wish the icon was anywhere else. He's cracked the code I have. Nintendo are realizing that they're older fans. Or is it Tiger Boy? Melon, what kind of fox have you seen with these ears and faint stripes? Well, not faint, and stripes. You also love this emoji thing. It's a cool feature. It's just in the wrong place. You've seen your fair share, actually. Then I think you've just been seeing a lot of tigers. Additionally, this is not a fox's tail. This is not bushy enough for a foxtail. I've been thinking lately, I've not really shown my whole model off that much. I should do this more. Wobble, 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 wobble. I can step, by the way. Yeah, again, like, I feel like... It's funny, because VTubers always play for, like, the full body. Well, they don't always, but, like... It's easy to pay for, like, the full body. The full body VTuber model. I feel like I just don't show it off all that much. I think that's not that great. Because, like, I just got this whole me, you know. All of it. All of it's there. Is that too big? I feel like that might be too big. Yeah, it is quite. What about that? Is that too small? I've forgotten the size that I normally have myself at. I'm just going to leave it there. Alright. He'd be looking like he's floating in Dragon Ball Z. Your plan worked. What was your secret master plan to see me floating? Okay, I think my model might be a bit too big. Why am I off screen now? Don't like that. Ooh. Okay. Sorry, I messed up the positioning, and now I confused myself. You just wanted to see me float. Floating is fun. For some reason it confused you so bad when you started levitating. Yeah, no, I can just do that, you know, it's what it is. You know how it be. Levitation and whatnot. Who doesn't love a good bit of levitation? I do, I love a good bit of levitation. Alright. You also get confused when you see levitating tigers. When you're not the one doing it, of course. Yeah, no, naturally. Wait, so if you are levitating and you see a levitating tiger, yeah, when you're levitating and see a levitating tiger, are you surprised or? Do I grass psychic type? That's good to know. I don't know. I've always imagined myself as grass normal. I can just learn psychic. It's just how it be, you know. No, you make tigers levitate. Oh. No, that was all me. I've decided. That was all me. Floating is normal? Yeah. If you can't float, you're the outlier. I'm going to be honest. No, I can't make you levitate. Mango might be able to. But I can't. That's just not my skill set, you know. Or am I gatekeeping? I might be gatekeeping. I'm gatekeeping levitation, actually. Dude, did you see Rainbow? It's like latest bit. Where he basically like Rainbow being like the GeoGuessr guy who can like guess a location by just like seeing it for a second. Basically like one guy posted a video where he was like, oh, I've got this really nice bagel and I'm not going to tell you where it is, where it's from, because I'm on that hater shit. You know, I'm gatekeeping. That's basically what he said. And Rainbow was like, bet. And found the location of the bagel that he got. Pointed out where the guy was sitting. And then got them to name the bagel after him. So if that guy ever goes back to that place to get that bagel, he has to look the cashier in the eye and be like, yeah, I want the Rainbow. Basically admitting defeat. Just absolute crazy shit. Honestly, I kind of respect it. Actually, seemingly actually, I feel like Rainbow's built up a reputation enough that I'd believe it. You know? I saw one where he looked around for 1 second and instantly got the exact road in Ghana. Holy shit. The exact road and everything? That's wild. Oh, you thought he had named... I meant the guy named it after the guy gatekeeping. So I'd have to say, yeah, I'll have a me thanks. No, he named it after, as in Rainbow. It's now called the Rainbow. That bagel is now called the Rainbow. And I find it funny that Rainbow's done that, because now a bunch of people are going to go there to get the bagel. I mean, I guess that's exactly the intent that he had. Was telling everybody where this bagel was. But I fucking love that. So what if we blindfolded him and plonked him somewhere in the world? He'd instantly know where he was. He would. From what it seems like, he would. You'd have to be so careful as a kidnap. If you wanted to kidnap Rainbow, you'd have to be so careful. Because if he sees like a glimpse out of the window and gets hold of your phone, he'll give the exact location to the police. He'll give like the coordinates. Someone please hit your head. I wouldn't recommend that, personally. Head hitting, not recommendable. Also where people were sending him photos of when their parents were younger and he found the places so they could recreate stuff. Oh, I've seen those as well. Those are really sweet ones, honestly. Like, I appreciate the funnier ones he does, but I like the ones where someone's, like, giving him, like, pictures of, like, important memories of theirs, so he can tell them exactly where it is. And he does that, and I think that's really sweet of him. Like, some photographic memory shit. Clearly. Clearly. And just, like, very good navigational skills, I guess? Like, if you ever get, like, into a plane accident in, like, the middle of the Amazon rainforest, you'd want him with you, you know? Those things where people are like, what are 3 things that you'd want to take to a desert island? Here are my 3 things. Rain bolt, mobile phone, Wi-Fi router. All I need. Rain bolt will instantly be able to tell me where I am. I'll look over to him and be like, yeah, we're at these coordinates. And I'll just phone someone. Rain bolt is really going through these hypothetical situations. He is. Yeah, he is going through these hypothetical situations. How'd you get power and signal to the router? Nah, it's a router, innit? It just connects to the Wi-Fi, that's how it works. Simple. But yeah, like, if Rainbolt was, like, tied up and put in an enclosure with lions, I don't think you could survive that one. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think his skill set would really fit that. Okay, what if he isn't in danger and we just call him like on a satellite phone? No, that's you're really overcomplicating things, Mango. I'm gonna be honest. I thought I was the only one who loves like the Joker. Melon, I hate to break it to you. I think I'm starting to get a picture here. More people than just the Joker laugh. Anyone can laugh, not just the Joker. Like that's not like a Joker-only character trait. Can you... I mean, Melon was just saying I laugh like the Joker. So I feel like that's implied. Guys, you have too many seedlings, you don't know what to do. Feed them to the rats. I'm sure the rats would appreciate them. Or sell them for £1.50. Right. Everyone can laugh is what I'm trying to say. Your laugh sounds like the Joker. Okay, different question then. Melon, have you ever heard the Joker laugh? But your baby butt squash. Butt. Music? Do you mind? It's a lot more noticeable when it just cuts out. When, like, it's a lot louder. which is interesting. And by interesting, I don't mean in a good way. But yeah, I wonder where Rainbolt developed his skill set, you know? Like, did he just do it from GeoGuessr? Or, like, was there something else that, like, made him get into that, you know? It's like, he's got some skills, let's face it. He fell on a radioactive map. Yeah, definitely, that must be it. That answers everything, I think. We're gonna go sleep. Understandable, Melon. I hope you have a great words. I hope you have a great night. And I hope you get good rest. That's a threat. Alright. $8.50. Let's get to $8.60, I think, and then I'll end stream. That'll be the dub. Still wild though, because that's about 10% of odds. I'm now trying to remember how many encounters it was when we got Regice. I think it was almost 2,000? Or was it almost 1,000? I can check. I can just check here. Yeah, it was almost 2,000, I'm now realizing. Okay, cool. But what if I did more? Then I'd have done more encounters. I'm glad I could clear that up. Is that like a request, or...? What if I get it on the next one, and then I won't need to do any more encounters, because I will have gotten it? It would be funny if I got a shiny on the last encounter of a stream one day. I think that's only happened to me, like, once. Managed to figure out the last two members for MMO, dude? Not entirely. I think I might go with Primate. I'll probably do that tomorrow. As in, get Primate ready. And then final member, I think I might end up getting ready... for Saturday's stream. And yeah, that'll be how I play my cards. How noticeably noticeable is the shiny one? From whatever that thing is. The shiny one is pink. It looks like what's in the thumbnail. So you can check by going onto the CahirLIVE official Discord server and checking the thumbnail. Oh, that seems like it'd be quite noticeable. It would be, it would be. Which is good, because I don't think it sparkles. I think it just pops out. I don't think there's a sparkle to it, I just think it appears. I got you. Well, glad you have an idea for one anyway. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know, it's just too hot to do too much at the moment, I think. I might end up doing most of my activities at night. Like a vampire. Yeah. She just goes, here's your shiny whatever this is or something. She doesn't even do that. I don't get this. to be clear, Mango. Like, I can't catch this. This isn't something I receive. Not at all. I'm just doing this more or less for, like, bragging rights. So there's just a chance of us showing a shiny, exactly. There's a chance of her being like, here, look, this is a shiny Pokemon. And that's it. That's the whole thing. I mean, you had a few more ideas that may be good for fighting types. As in a Pokemon to complement Primeape, or other fighting type Pokemon that could be good ideas. Right. Final one. Oh well. 'Twas nothing at all. You know how it be. The Cahir and Heracross, am I not a fighting type? Tauros. I am interested by the suggestion of Tauros, honestly. But yeah, tell me more about that after stream, I think, because for now, we're going to end. And tomorrow if you want to go and get sleep, which is fair enough. But yeah, it's now I think I'm going to end off. But thank you all for coming. This has been a fun one. I've enjoyed myself. This has been a good hunt, honestly. I've been enjoying this hunt so far. It's a weirder one to do, but I've had a good time. But yeah, of course, this Wednesday I'll be doing PokeMMO. I will be continuing on with Kanto, and then on Friday we'll be doing the what's it called? Oh, no brains. On Friday we'll be doing Chestnut raids. Chestnut raids are finally back, so we'll be doing that. I'd never actually got a Chestnut. I wasn't doing that the last time, so that'll be very good to do. And then next shiny hunting stream will be next Monday, where I'll be continuing our hunt for the triple segment of Dunsparce, which of course got interrupted last week for Safari Week. But yeah, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and a great start to your week as well. I'll see you all on Wednesday. Goodbye, and good night.